Some of you may remember the group Sha Na Na, right? Okay. The lead singer is with us here today. And like many of us who remember him, he is not in his 20s anymore, like the rest of us. He's grown up just like we have. And he, like us, is concerned about the future of Medicaid care, Social Security, and is going around the country talking to folks like you about these important programs and why we must fight and vote and to protect them. Please join me in welcoming Jon Bowzer Bauman.
Well, thank yous. And what we're hoping is that at the end of this cycle, we're going to elect a candidate right here in this district who believes in the importance of protecting and in fact expanding Social Security, protecting and in fact expanding Medicare, lowering drug prices, and never using that ugly word entitlements to describe any of these programs, because there are benefits that everyone in this room has paid into through all their working years. So, what my fervent hope is that at the end of this election, someone who supports all those issues and supports them fervently is going to be doing this. Can you believe that I have been making a living now for over 47 years doing this? God bless America. And yes, I am actually president of, I take this very seriously, I'm still doing a bunch of shows, but I take this very seriously. I am president of Social Security Works PAC. We are likely to endorse the candidate who comes out of this forum as the winner of the nomination on the side that they represent. And the reason that we are likely to endorse that candidate is because the person who is not here today, although someone's sitting in his seat, but it's not the reason I say that is because the person who is not here today, our colleagues at the Alliance for Retired Americans, and CARA is the California Alliance for Retired Americans, put out a scorecard every year. And in that scorecard, people's votes on senior issues are in fact evaluated. And the gentleman who did not come here today, and this may be part of the reason that he didn't come here today to try to defend these, there are 10 votes that are analyzed, so you get kind of 10 points for each vote that you take, adding up to 100. For the past 2 years, so 20, I guess it's evaluated, or 2016 and 17, the gentleman who's now representing this district, well, can you guess with me what you think his total score is? I will give you a hint. I'm the guy in the movie Grease. Anybody up here ever seen the movie Grease? So I'm the guy in the movie Grease who actually speech sang during that dance contest with Chacha Di Gregorio and Danny Zuko. I'm actually the guy who said, "How low can you go?" Say it with me. How low can you go? How low can you go? How low can you go? So you cannot go any lower than the congressman who is not here today from this district's score, according to the Alliance for Retired Americans, because his score on senior issues for the past 2 years has been 0. A literal, actual 0. So that does represent a bit of a problem. I wish you were here today to try to discuss and defend those particular votes, but the score really is 0. The lifetime score is actually 3 out of 100. So that means 97% of the time the wrong vote was taken, and frankly, what 3 really means is that the right vote, I think, was never taken, but you didn't show up a few times. So this is stuff that really is a serious issue. you know, because I'm 70 years old now, but even when I was much younger, I understood that what was coming down in the future for all of us as we do grow older, and there are quite a few young people here, which is very encouraging to see. But we all have to look forward to a time in our lives when, you know, we are dependent on what we have done in the previous years as far as preserving, protecting, and expanding these wonderful programs that have changed American life forever. You know, I don't know how many of you have thought about this with any degree of intensity, but and you know I love the music of the 50s and the 60s, so it's hard to get me to say anything wrong about the 50s and the 60s. But before Medicare was passed in 1965, 35% of American seniors still lived below the poverty line. And largely that was because of medical expenses strangling their later years. And before Social Security was passed in the 30s, over 50%, more than 1 out of every 2 American seniors lived in poverty. These are the Social Security and Medicare, and now Medicaid as well, but Social Security and Medicare have been the 2 most successful social programs in the entire history of the United States of America. And you know what, here in California, we need to keep them that way. In fact, we need to expand and improve them. So that is why we're here today. We're here to discuss what we can do to make our lives better as we grow older, and that means everybody's life better. So you're going to hear a lot about substance today. I am the president of Social Security Works PAC. We are probably going to endorse someone who comes out of this panel in the general election, because as I've told you, the current congressman here has no chance of getting our endorsement because he's running such a poor record on senior issues. So I'm not going to bore you with any more details. You're going to hear a lot of stuff up here, but we are intensely involved and will endorse ultimately in this race. What I do want to share with you, just to lighten things up a little bit, is the real reason why I'm here. So let me take this out of this. Okay. Now, you know, because this is the personal reason, and anybody who gets involved in this kind of thing, there's always a personal reason. And how many of you are familiar with me and the Bowzer character? Okay, so you're...
Showing my age.
Right, so quite a few. And you know that I'm best known for my involvement in what I call the classical music of rock and roll, right? But what you probably don't know is that I didn't even start out in rock and roll. I actually started out in real classical music. So I just want you to follow me over here to the piano for a minute, where I started out playing music that sounded like this. Standing up. So, that's what I started out doing. I started playing piano when I was 7 years old. I attended the Juilliard School of Music in the city of New York, beginning at age 12. And that was called the preparatory division. You know, that's what you're supposed to be doing when you were 12, if you had some skill at this stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to turn into Bowzer, my character, for just a minute. So, if you're a little kid and you're learning how to play classical music, especially in New York City, where do you want to grow up one day to perform?
Carnegie.
So the year was 1973. Carnegie Hall, in desperate financial trouble, turns to rock and roll. And who should be invited to perform at the fabled, the legendary Carnegie Hall, but my old group? So there we are, Sha-na-na, on stage at Carnegie Hall. And in the third row of the audience was the only person standing in the entire audience of Carnegie Hall. My mother. Bessie Bauman, the woman who forced me to practice. And she stood proudly in Carnegie Hall while her son sang Rabba-Labba Ding Dong. And she waved, and she shouted, she cried, Jonathan, because that's my real name, Jonathan, you made it! Because to your mother, whether it was Chopin's Minute Waltz or Rabba-Labba Ding Dong, Carnegie Hall was Carnegie Hall! And that is a 100% every single syllable of a true story. And then when the show was over, she went out to the merchandising table and she started signing autographs, Bowzer's mother. So in her honor, because she did force me to practice, I'm going to share with you her favorite melody. This is the Chopin Etude in E major. That's the real reason why I'm here today. My mom was a public school teacher at BS 45 in Brooklyn. She went back to work, that generation, late in life, after she raised her kids. She had a little bit of a pension, but not really very much when she finally retired. And I'm here to tell you that her Social Security, and especially that brand new program, she passed away in 1973. So that brand new program, Medicare, made a difference in her life, made her life completely different from the life of my grandparents who moved in with us because they had to. So that is the real reason why I'm here today for this panel to talk about the importance of senior issues. And that is the reason why you should listen very carefully to what these people on this panel have to say today and evaluate them, because these issues affect every single one of us and every single one in our family. And it's not just, it's Social Security, it's Medicare, it's Medicaid, which pays for 67% of nursing home care in America. And it's making sure that we fight to lower the backbreaking cost of drugs in this country, of prescription drugs. So that is the reason that I'm here today, to listen to these candidates with you. We will eventually endorse, on behalf of Social Security Works PAC, of which I am the president, and we will endorse on the basis of the importance of
Bum 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 dang 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 ding dong ding. Social Security and Medicare. So on with the show. And I've got autograph pictures for everybody who wants one right after this forum. Very important forum in a very important district.